Hello again out there in YouTube and Radio Land. This is Ham Radio Man Oz, and this is episode number 18. Oh, we're getting close to the big 20. Thank you very much for everybody who's subscribed to this channel, everyone who's left me comments, and everyone who's enjoying watching these videos. Please keep pushing that thumbs up button, giving me a like, giving me a comment. Tell your friends about this channel, because it's just going to keep going on and on and on. Coming up in a couple of episodes, we've got a review on an oscilloscope. Now, I did a while ago, I purchased an oscilloscope on eBay, 100 megahertz Iwatsu 7611, and it was very, very impressive. But unfortunately, it had a problem, and the guy I bought it off lives very close to me. So I took it back to him, and he was kind enough to give me a refund. But I think he knew it had a problem and why he was selling it so cheap. And unfortunately, I didn't know enough about oscilloscopes to know what I was looking for, but it wouldn't calibrate. Even when I bought new probes for the oscilloscope, which worked fine on other oscilloscopes, it wouldn't. This particular oscilloscope would not calibrate, and it's a shame, because it was a really nice oscilloscope. The voltage division wouldn't work. There was numerous problems with the microprocessor, but it had a really cool frequency readout at the top of it. And when I put that with my signal generator, would go up to say 1 megahertz, 2 megahertz, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on. It would register at the top what it was on, and I could get a sine wave on there from the signal generator, but only half the screen, not across the whole screen. And it was the voltage division function just wasn't working, so I could not get it out, and the XY function didn't work and all that. I slowly learnt a bit more about oscilloscopes by watching several videos like EEV blog and a few other videos out there on oscilloscopes. So now I've got the refund on that. I've ordered another one. It's only 20 megahertz, and it's an old Dick Smith model, but it seemed to be okay. It basically cost me no more than the other one. There is a couple of really nice analog scopes on eBay at the moment, and there's one I've got my eye on especially, and a digital one that I've got my eye on, but in time. But I got this 20 megahertz one on its way, because A, it didn't really cost me much more than the one I bought before, and B, the guy assures me that he only used it 4 times. The screen looked in perfect condition and so forth. So when that arrives, I'll do a review and see how it works and all of that. Plus, I've got the Rode and Schwartz audio frequency generator to do a review on. That cost me about $300. It's a huge audio sweep generator, but it has some nice features on it and some really nice cool functions on it. So these are all coming up. But we are talking about sort of similar to oscilloscopes today. But I do want to first of all touch on, I got a little package today in the mail, and one of them was a little thing I'm about to show you, but also included was this really cool electronic breadboard kit that I bought. Now, I've got it actually wired up here a little bit. It actually is like a normal breadboard, and it has a little power unit that goes onto the end of the breadboard, and it gives you the ability to put power and USB onto the board, and it's got voltage of 3.3 or 5 volts, switchable by little jumpers that are actually on that board there, and comes with all these, well, quite a handful of these jumper cables, quite a lot of them actually, all a handful, and the breadboard. And it was only about $10, so I thought, oh, well, you know, I'm a gadget guy, so what better than have a little gadget. Now, the only problem was that when it arrived, I plugged in the power unit and put in power into the unit, and I couldn't understand. There was no power going through it. It turns out just next to the power connector, there's a switch, and that switch is actually broken. So I messaged the guy, and I've got the pieces for the switch, but it's missing a spring, and it's probably missing a little contact thing, and it appeared to be a push down, push up, on off contact switch. So alright, out comes the multimeter, checking what's going on with the switch. Okay, voltage was going into it, going into the switch. Very easy, simple correction. I'm not worried if it's got a switch or not. If I can get a replacement from this one day, or a new switch to go in there, that's fine. But in the meantime, all I did was jumper some solder across the bottom connectors where the power needed to be on, and voila. And to give you an idea, I've got my little plug pack here. I'm going to plug it in so you can see I've got an LED wired up. So here we've got power going to the board, some jumpers across, and look, we've got an LED lit up in the end there. You know, I have not experimented with breadboards before. In fact, this is probably the first one I've ever owned. I don't know a lot about them, but it's turning out to be a really cool little thing to have. So it's got USB on there as well, as I say. So it's just a really cool little little breadboard electronic kit. So you can put power straight to the breadboard, wire up some components, wire up a circuit, see how it operates, and if you're successful, well, there you go. But what I do want to show you today is what else arrived, and it was, again, very cheap. Now, a lot of people have seen these on eBay already. These little electronic oscilloscope kits, and here it is here. Now, this one is called the DS0-138. Now, there's a couple of different ones on the market, and there's one by Saint or something like that, and this is the original by JTech or something like that. Now, you can get these in kit form. I haven't got a case for it yet. I've got to order a case, those acrylic cases you can get for it. Now, the first thing is that you can buy these in kit form. You do it yourself, and they have some that are soldered the SMDs on the board, because the SMDs are really small on there, and I wouldn't like to sit there and solder them. I'm not very experienced at soldering SMDs yet, and I don't have any solder paste, so I think if I was to do that, I would use some solder paste. But you can get them soldered with the SMDs, or you can get what I did. I paid a few extra dollars to have it professionally assembled. So it's still a kit, but I didn't want to go through the rigmarole of soldering it all myself and putting it all together and maybe finding something didn't work or something like that. I thought it was really cool, and for a few extra dollars, it was already all soldered and assembled and sent to me. Now, the next question you're going to ask me is, but does it work? Yes, because I didn't solder it myself, professionally soldered. I think it was about $30 professionally soldered. And it's a really cool little oscilloscope. Now, it's only a single channel job, and it's very low frequency, and that, and I've got to get a case. But now the voltage input is between 8 and 12 volts, around 125 milliamps. So I had to find an old plug pack that I had. Now I've got this one actually here. Now I'm going to go into something about plug packs in a minute too. It's something I've discovered, and I don't know whether it's something I'm doing wrong or something that is common or something that's commonly known. But I've got a 7.5 volt DC plug pack, 250 milliamps. That's the lowest one I could actually find of DC in my house, because like a lot of us, you've probably got a lot of plug packs lying around and various voltages. So before you do anything with the plug pack, this is what I did. I tested the voltages on the multimeter, and I found something very interesting. Because I have some 9 volt ones as well. I've got 9 volt AC. Well, we want DC for this. I've got a 9 volt DC, and I've got a 9.6 volt DC, which I thought I'd just use. But I thought I would do something clever, or at least on the safe side, because I didn't want to take a chance of damaging this at all, considering that I paid for it, assembled and everything like that. So put the plug pack into the power and then put it on the multimeter. Now I've discovered something very interesting, and I don't know whether this is commonly known. The 7.5 volt plug pack that I'm using puts out 11.52 volts. Now, because this will take 8 to 12 volts, that was about the lowest I could get. The 9 volt and the 9.6 volt transformers are putting out 14 volts. So I did not want to take the risk. They say 9 volts on the plug pack, but their voltage output is 14 volts. Am I doing something wrong? Am I not reading something right here? Is there something in the local formula of Ohm's law that I've forgotten, or something about voltage laws I've forgotten? It strikes me as odd. Yet, I have a 5 volt plug pack, and that is outputting exactly 5.3 volts on the multimeter. And I'll show you some of that shortly as well. I've got other 12 volt packs that are putting out exactly 12 volts. But some of these plug packs that I've got that are 9 volt, they're made in China, and they're putting out 14 volts. Well, I didn't want to take the risk of plugging 14 volts in this thing because it'd probably blow it up straight away. So this one is a 7.5 volt plug pack, but it's putting out 11.52 volts. It's under the 12 volt mark, so I thought, okay, we'll give it a shot. I didn't have a 9 volt battery, because you could wire up a 9 volt battery as well if you wanted to, or some other, if you want to take it portable. 9 volt battery will power this up quite well. But to power it up and demonstrate it, I put my plug pack. So we plug it in. It doesn't have an on-off switch. One disappointment. Okay, so we plug it in, and it comes to life. And as you can see, it goes through the booting process, and there's a warning there about the software being used on the Saint or something, the other model that's on eBay. They don't apparently Saint, the boards are a dark color, and they don't want you using the software. But as you can see, it's all come to life. Now we'll go into a close-up onto this and have a look at it in action on the bench. And you can see a little bit, and I'll see if I can show you some more features of this little oscilloscope kit. Now, it's a very small screen, but I think it's really cool. Little coloured screen, but I do need the case for it, because I do want to keep it safe. But we'll put that on the test bench, and I'll show you some more. Okay, so here we are with our little DSO-138, all operating. Now, you've got 3 switches on the side. That's DC, AC and ground, and it changes on the display down there to tell you DC, AC, ground. You've got also different voltages here, voltage selection, and you've got here another type of selection for voltages as well. So what we'll do is we'll just put it back. It's just picking up a bit of noise there. If I touch it with my fingers, look at that. Woohoo! Crazy dance. Okay. But I'll just put it on the calibration clip. Now, when it actually came to me, it didn't have the calibration loop here on it. So I just had to cut the lead off a resistor I wasn't using and just solder that across the loop. They must have just forgotten to do that. Alright, here we go. Now I'll just get this all set back where you can see it properly. Let's go to there. So we're on AC. And we'll bring that one down, and we'll bring this one down, and there we go. Alright, so if we change the settings, I'll just go back to auto on that actually, and run that again, and we'll change this across to change the voltage so you can see better. Whoa, that's humongous. And I think the way I had it before, there we are, just got to get around with the switches. So there's our calibration signal, and you see here it tells you the frequency, the cycles and all that. So we can change a lot for this little tiny oscilloscope. It changes quite a lot indeed. You can see all that changing, and look at that, we can get all sorts of options. Now I'll just zoom in on that to show you a bit better. It's not too bad a signal, or a nice little square wave there for the calibration. And then you can change the voltage settings. So we got there, we'll just increase that, and you see it increases the size of the display. And then again on the bottom switch, and we can increase it again and again, and change all the magnification of that, just like a normal oscilloscope, but it's only a single channel and it's just a tiny little one, but it's really cool. So that's 1 volt there, and there's 2 volts I think, and there's 5 volt setting, and you can hold it so you can check it better as well. So not a bad little unit at all. So if anyone would like one from the guy that I bought it from, now you can get these all over eBay. There's lots of people selling them, and you've got the option of having them professionally soldered and all that. All I suggest you do is check the feedback on those buyers. Make sure you're buying from somebody with at least a high and reputable feedback. You know, a few negative comments, well, have a look at the negative comments. But if you want to get the one from the guy that I bought it from, let me know in the comments and I'll supply the link to this guy that I bought from, because it was nice and fast postage. It didn't take too long at all, really. Probably, I think it was about 2 weeks to get here, and it works no problems. All I had to do was put the little clip on tonight, to solder that on for the calibration clip, and that's easy done. But to get it sent to you professionally soldered, and I would recommend the guy I bought it from. So if you need the link to that, let me know. The only thing I've got to do is get a case for it, acrylic case, and that would be really good. He did include some those like standoff things that you get on computer boards, these little plastic standoffs, but unfortunately one was missing and one was broken, so I only got 2 of them that are actually in any good nick. Now that could just be the postage, but it was packed reasonably well, so I'm happy with the unit anyway. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoy this video, and you know, if you have any comments about this unit, please let me know. Oh, and we can reboot it as well. Down the bottom, push the little button to reboot. There we go. Bingo. And it reboots. It's quite nice. It's a small little screen, but a handy little gadget to have. And I put it on my signal generator already, and had the nice sine wave as well going through it. So not bad at all. 30 bucks. Well, there you go, guys. Rather nice little oscilloscope, and for what it is, a single channel job. Simple, easy to use, and cheap as chips. And you know, for a few dollars more to have it assembled and soldered professionally, and save you all the headache in case you make a mistake. Well, if you want the kit form, you can get the kit form and do it yourself and save yourself a few bucks. I just wanted to save myself a few headaches of soldering and have it done professionally, and it's a really good solder job that's been done on it as well. So this is Ham Radio Man Oz, and this has been episode 18, and I thank you very much again for tuning in and joining me. Stay tuned for more exciting stuff to come in the future. So give me a big thumbs up, please. Hit that like button and comment, and don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends all about this, and I really thank you for your support. So keep it rolling and we'll keep it real. Cheers and 73s for now.